Shalom. Allah start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth in all faith, truth, and sincerity. I'm a want to buy back again in the city. I'm not going to make this too long. Just want to go into about, the Passover is tonight. Just want to go into just about just being, in solemn mindset, serious mindset of, the Passover, it's a serious thing. Me, myself, first and foremost, and those that believe in Lord Yahushua, that, hopefully, that the Lord Yahushua have mercy, and, to escape his wrath of judgments, that he will bring upon this place, America, Babylon the Great, and now and going forward, just hope that, Lord Yahushua have mercy. But, I'm getting into it. It's Ecclesiastes 7:2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. So it's better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting. It's better than to be in a mournful, sorrowful, contrite spirit, and during the Passover, in these times, and not being a happy, jolly mindset, and having fun like these other, Israelites out here at camps that they don't take the Passover seriously, or these times that we in seriously, they stay in and partying, and do as thou wilt, and they not in the right spirit, but like I said, the apostles and the elders and the brethren and the brethren of Great Millstone that had this truth, that teach it, they give you the understanding that the Passover is a serious thing, and it's not to be taken lightly, so it's better, to be in the house of mourning, which follow the men of Great Millstone, and not those other Israelite camps that I say they don't take it seriously, man. But I'll go from the next verse. Ecclesiastes 7:3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. So being in in the sorrowful, like I say again, mindset, it's better than laughter. It's better in these times. Not saying that you're not gonna, sometimes have, sometimes laugh, but in these times now, especially today, the Passover, it's really being in a serious mindset. Really, really in these times, it really not a laughing matter for real. Really, being a serious mindset, man. This verse, and I'm end off of this. I didn't want to make this too long. This is Ecclesiastes 7:4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. So the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. Like I said, the apostles and the elders and brother Great Millstone have the truth, is in the house of mourning, being in the mournful, sorrowful, serious mindset in these times, that we in the Passover tonight, and just going forward, and to be in a more serious mindset, because these times that we in going forward is, the Lord Yahushua, is gonna bring His wrath of judgment down upon those that are not, they ain't right, or that's not of their righteous number, that's not gonna have mercy, any times going forward. But the heart of fools is in the house of mercy. So like I say, going to the word heart, and the Hebrew word is lob, which means your mind. So, these people's minds, that are not, in a mournful, sorrowful, repentful mindset, to the Lord Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, they they minds is in, like I said, want to party and bullshit and act foolish and, be in the ways of the world, I say then that's gonna lead them to death and destruction. Those that not, repenting, those that not repent to the Lord Yahushua, those that not, involved in, not in the truth, or those that did people did that came across the truth and didn't take it serious, scoff or just, mocked it or whatever, or like I say, they not taking the truth seriously, they know the truth, but then they not, seriously about it. They just, still, in the ways of the world, But like I said, the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites, the apostles and the elders, Brother Graham Millstone, those that of the righteous number, the elect, are gonna be in a serious mindset, in Yahushua, and keep on believing, having faith, and do what they gotta do, to receive mercies, to receive the mercies of the Lord Yahushua, in these times and going forward. But the rest of the world, the people, 2/3 Israelites, that's not of that number, is gonna be destroyed, in these times going forward, and Lord Yahushua gonna bring those judgments down, in these times going forward, so, I say, hopefully I'm probably righteous number to escape the wrath of judgment, in the Lord, excuse me, hopefully I'm probably righteous enough to escape the wrath of judgments, Lord Yahushua in these times, and going forward, so, and receive mercy, and then those that believe, hope that Lord Yahushua, have mercy upon you in these times going forward. So with that, they won't make this too long. So again, I'd like to all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash, to the apostle elders, to the Sisakian brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith in Yahushua, keep fighting with that. Say shalom.